So the other day, I don't know, yesterday, the day before?
Yesterday. The official word came yesterday.
Okay. And we had David Branch on, the president of the CHL, talking about the fact that starting in 2014, CHL teams will not be able to draft non-North American goaltenders.
Correct.
They can draft Mexican goaltenders, but they can't draft Finnish, Swedish, Czech, etc.
Japanese.
Goaltenders.
Right.
Japanese. And the concept is because Canada isn't producing enough goaltenders, and we have to give the Canadian guys more of a chance. I guess is that the idea?
Well, the thought is that we are actually 3 to 5 years behind in developing elite goaltenders in this country, based on the fact is that there's some people that say that we're giving European goalies those primary positions to train and to develop.
Our next guest is part of Hockey Canada's National Coaches Mentorship Program. Also spent time with Goalie Pro in Finland, which I guess is a school, if you will.
Yeah.
Teaching academy, specifically for goaltenders. Jack Hardigan is with us. Hello, Jack. How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
So, I'm led to understand then that we have nothing like this here in Canada. Is that true?
Well, yeah, not on a national level in the States. I'm actually over here in Finland right now. I was studying with Goalie Pro again, and I had played here and coached here a little bit for parts of 3 years prior to this. So this is my 5th year over here, kind of studying the game, and yeah, we don't have a coaches certification program that educates our goalie coaches at a national level. So when you get your minor hockey kids, playing hockey or minor hockey goaltenders, we don't have anybody that's per se educated in teaching a standard goalies system. So we have lots of great goalie coaches, but we're all kind of on a different page, and some kids are getting coaching and some kids aren't. So it's and over here they have it right from the day they strap the pads on. They have a whole system here for them to train at and develop at.
Some would say that we do have training programs, Jack, but quite frankly, they're basically money makers for these goaltenders as opposed to what's going on in Sweden and Finland. Is that not correct?
Well, absolutely. Here in Finland, all the goalie coaching and program for the kids is essentially free for them, except for their registration that we all pay every year. So our goaltenders in minor hockey back in Canada, we pay a registration fee to play hockey, but that doesn't cover our goalie coaching expenses at all, and that can be up to $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a year extra for a parent if they want to get the top level goalie coaching. And here in Finland, some of the top goalie coaches work with the youngest players, not just our our beginning coaches. Right. So they really value the top coaches working with the younger goalies, because that's where they need it the most.
So do you believe we could institute this kind of system seamlessly here in Canada, or are the existing systems too entrenched?
Well, I absolutely believe we can, but it's going to take a whole different perspective. And I'm speaking from a little bit of experience. I've returned home and implemented a program in Bedford, Nova Scotia, through a lot of help with Sean McKenzie, who's the development coordinator there, and it's gone well in the last 2 years. And we've implemented just the exact same program that they've had here in Finland, where it's the registrations compromise the expenses for the kids, so they get some good goalie coaching. And but I think it's more of coaches coming together and throwing our egos aside and our companies aside that we make decent money at, and say we got to get a program off the ground, and the good goalie coaches will still have jobs, and that's the main thing. We need to come together and we need to start sharing information. It's a young goalie coach like myself found it really hard coming back to Canada to find somebody to mentor. It wasn't easy. So.
Can you put it in perspective how long this has been going on in Finland and Sweden, and therefore the repercussions and the development it's really now a second generation of goaltenders, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's been going on since 1986, and actually Jukka Ropinen from Goalie Pro was on the first board of that made the program in 1986. So, and they've had a goaltenders education program since then, and they've said that it's taken 10 to 15 years to work out all the kinks and everything, but now they're starting to churn out goalies at the top of the global goalie pyramid. Finland's not a big country, and Sweden started their program, I think maybe 10 to 12 years ago, and now look at the goalies that have been coming to the NHL. It is something to do with the systematic program they have over here.
So, for want of a better way to phrase it, is the CHL ban on European goalies a Band-Aid remedy?
Well, absolutely. I think it is to a certain extent. There's a lot of different ways to look at it. I really enjoyed watching some of the top goalies from Europe playing in Canada this year, and I think we still have some top-level goalies playing. And I know there's 12 spots that we're taking this year by European goaltenders, but we also have to look at, we had 12 goaltenders that had spots that were overagers that were Canadians. So, right. I mean, like, why don't we eliminate the overagers and they could go on to play, their pro hockey or university hockey? For me, I think it's going to hurt CHL as being known as the best league, junior league in the world, because that's what the goalies over here are saying. They want to go play in the best league in the world, which is the CHL for juniors.
With Jack Hardigan, who joins us from Finland, have you had conversations with anybody from Hockey Canada with regard to what you've been involved with, what the programs are over there, and trying to institute something similar here in Canada?
Well, no, not at the national level. I attended a meeting last year, and I talked a bit about that. But I was a fresh face, and
Sure.
I didn't really have much input there. I've talked a lot with our branch, which is Hockey Nova Scotia, and we've been talking lots, and there's lots of ideas floating around, and they've been very supportive of the ideas, and we feel we're a small enough province that we will be able to help our goalies more, because it's very possible to do something like this, and I've been talking to a lot of goalie coaches around that we're trying to come together and share our resources. So.
Just to be clear, though, Jack, this is a volunteer program, essentially, as I understand it, in Finland, correct?
Yeah, it's more or less a volunteer program. There's more. It's most of the goalie coaches have other jobs,
right?
And they volunteer their time, and that has a bit to do with their social, semi-socialist structure over here.
Sure.
But there's a few guys that make a few bucks with the top teams, and they work with some of the younger kids as well. And there's a few private companies that go through the summertime. So, the top goalie coaches do make a bit of a living, but most of it is volunteer. And these volunteer coaches are very well educated, and because they learn from the top guys, and they get that chance to spend time with the top guys.
Fascinating stuff. Thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy your time over there, and hopefully we have a chance to talk to you down the road. We'll try as we try and push the peanut along and see if we can implement this system here. Thanks, Jack.
Yeah, thank you.
Talk to you again. Jack Hardigan with Goalie Pro in Finland, and he's there learning, essentially, how to teach goaltenders.
One of the other real issues in my mind in Canada with the CHL is that, let's say for the argument, there are two goalies on every team. The second goaltender, doesn't play very long.
Correct.
And therefore, you'd be better to put him down in the lower junior league. But there's no relationship right now between major junior and
second tier.
And tier 2 hockey.
There's no minor league.
No.
In essence.
No.
Below.
So we're actually cutting our nose off to spite our face.
That's an interesting problem too.
Yeah.
And I'm not happy with, and I told Branch this yesterday, I'm not happy with this decision. But at the same time, clearly there's a problem here that has to be addressed. I'm not sure they've addressed it the right way, but there might be a better way to do it. The break, and then Healy will be next. Jeff Hunt of the Ottawa Red Blacks as well, when Primetime continues.